Welcome to Station 2. Station 2 is all about finding slope. Your goal is to locate the slope of each of these problems. So, the first four have to do with lines that are graphed. We use the slope triangle where we draw on the grid lines and then we count. So from this dot, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 up to that next dot. And then I go over 1, 2. Now when we write slope, we use rise over run, so it's really 4 over 2, which will reduce down to a 2. I notice that it is a positive line, so 2 is my slope, and I am done. On number 10 is also a positive line, because as I read it from left to right, I'm going up the hill. I'm going to start by drawing my lines up, drawing my lines over, and then I count from this dot up to where this line crosses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I do the same thing counting over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So my up and down is 6, my left to right is 7, and I'll notice that 6 over 7 will not reduce, so I'm done. As a reminder, if you're curious on whether or not something reduces and don't know how to use your calculator correctly, the math button, and then enter 2 times. And that will tell you whether or not it reduces. Remember our formula we use? y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2, or y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. You can use either one, whichever one you're most comfortable with. So over here, I fill it in by taking out the letters. My first plot has an x and a y. I'm going to give them the subscript of 1 because they're first. My second one, my x and my y, they get the little number of 2 because they are second. So if I use the first one, I get negative 16 minus 14. And then I get negative 6 minus a negative 7. Negative 16 minus 14 gives me a negative 30. Negative 6 minus negative 7, when I minus a negative, I'm really adding it. And now my signs are different, so I subtract the numbers. 7 minus 6 leaves me with a 1. And the 7's bigger and positive, so it stays with positive 1. This will, in fact, reduce to just a negative 30. Do the same thing on number 14. Start off with our fraction bar and our 2 negatives. And then I got to fill in my x and my y1, my x2, my y2. Well, this time let's do this y2 minus y1. So I have 0 minus 5, and I have 3 minus a negative 3. 0 minus 5 leaves me with a negative 5. 3 minus a negative 3 really means add, so I end up with 6. Negative 5 over 6 will not reduce, so that is my answer, and I am done. Hit pause if you would like to do 15 and 16, but I'm going to move on to number 17. Remember, to determine slope, you have to have y by itself. 17, 18, 19, and 20 all mean then you have to solve for y. So I'm going to circle what I'm solving for, and how do I get rid of a positive x? I subtract x from both sides. So I end up with y equals negative x minus 5. Now because y is by itself and it's positive, I can tell you what the slope is. That is going to be this number right here attached to x. As you can see, it's just a negative sign, which means our slope will be a negative 1. And number 18. Draw my line, circle what I'm solving for. How do I get rid of a minus 3x? You got to add it to both sides. So I have 6y equals 3x plus 30. Again, circling what I'm solving for, how to get rid of the 6. Divide by 6. Y equals 3 divided by 6 will in fact reduce to 1 over 2. Attach the x onto it. 30 divided by 6 is a positive 5. So our slope is that number attached to x, which is right here. So our slope is going to be a 1/2. Finish up station 2, please.